Okay, let's talk about something you've almost definitely heard about, maybe whispered on a parenting blog, or even seen a celebrity post about. Eating the placenta. Is it a new trend, a legitimate treatment, or something else? Let's get into it.
And let's be real, when someone like Kim Kardashian says something like this, people listen. It's a huge reason why placenta phagy, that's the official term for it, has just exploded. In a few short years, it went from being way out on the fringe to being a mainstream wellness topic.
So what are we actually talking about here? Placentophagy is, simply put, consuming the placenta after giving birth. And this can happen in all sorts of ways. Some people put a piece in a smoothie, others have it cooked. But by far the most common way today is having it dried, ground up, and put into capsules.
Now here's the first thing that might surprise you. You often hear this talked about as some kind of ancient, forgotten tradition, but the research just doesn't back that up. When anthropologists looked at hundreds of cultures throughout history, they found almost zero evidence of this practice. The modern trend really kicked off in the United States, and not that long ago, back in the 1970s.
So if it's not some ancient tradition, why are so many people doing it? Well, the answer lies in a pretty powerful list of promised benefits, especially for new moms who are in a really vulnerable postpartum period.
I mean, just look at this list. Proponents believe it's this natural cure-all. They say it can help with everything from your mood and energy levels to boosting milk supply and even helping you heal faster. For any new parent, those are some seriously compelling claims.
And this chart right here really drills down on the number one reason. A big study found that for almost 3/4 of women who do this, the main motivation is the hope that it will prevent postpartum depression. So it's really all about mental health.
Okay, so those are the claims. But what happens when you put them under the scientific microscope? What does the actual research tell us?
First up, iron. The idea makes sense, right? The placenta is rich in iron, so eating it should help fight anemia. But when scientists did the gold standard of studies, a placebo-controlled trial, they found no difference in iron levels at all. Turns out the amount of iron you actually get from the capsules is only about 1/4 of what you'd need in a day. It's just not enough to move the needle.
Now for the big one, postpartum depression. Again, the science just isn't there. Study after study has found no real evidence that it helps. So what about all those moms who swear it worked wonders for them? Well, researchers think that's the powerful placebo effect at play. If you truly believe something will make you feel better, sometimes you actually do.
And what about increasing milk supply? You guessed it, same story. Studies just haven't found any benefit there either. Biologically, milk production gets triggered by a hormone called prolactin after the placenta is delivered. The hormones inside the placenta itself don't actually play that role.
Okay, so we've talked about the lack of proven benefits. Now we have to flip the coin and talk about the risks. And it all starts with this one simple and kinda unsettling fact. The placenta is a filter. It is not sterile. And because its job is to act as a filter for 9 months, it can trap and accumulate all sorts of things you really don't want to be eating. We're talking bacteria, viruses, and even heavy metals like mercury and lead that it has filtered out to keep the baby safe. And look, this isn't just a theoretical what if. It's a real risk. Back in 2017, the CDC actually issued a formal warning after a newborn got seriously ill with a Group B strep infection. The baby kept getting sick, and they traced the source of the infection directly back to the mother's contaminated placenta pills.
This is exactly why you hear so many medical professionals, like Dr. Grunebaum here, being so blunt about it. For them, the math is simple. The potential for real harm just isn't worth it for benefits that haven't been proven.
But even with all these warnings, the practice is more popular than ever. And, you guessed it, a whole cottage industry has popped up to meet the demand.
So if you decide to go for it, you'll typically be offered 2 main preparation styles. There's the traditional Chinese method, where the placenta is steamed first, which is supposed to provide a warming energy. Then there's the raw method, which skips the heat based on the idea that you're preserving more of the raw nutrients and hormones.
And this isn't some back-alley operation. It's become a really slick, professional service. A company will send you a go kit for the hospital, you till the placenta, ship it off, and a few days later, a bottle of capsules arrives at your door. It's a far cry from a DIY project in your kitchen.
And it is a business. As you can see, you can expect to pay a few $100s to have this done. We're talking anywhere from $200 to $400 for a single placenta.
But here's the absolute most critical piece of information about this whole industry. It's basically the Wild West. It is completely unregulated. The FDA isn't checking on it, there are no federal standards for safety, no required protocols for handling, and no one is checking to make sure the pills you get back are actually safe to consume.
So, after looking at the claims, the science, the risks, and the business behind it all, where does that leave us? What's the real bottom line here? This table really captures the core issue perfectly. On one side, you have these powerful, very real, personal stories from moms who genuinely feel it helped them feel happier and more energetic. But on the other side, you have all this scientific evidence that shows no measurable difference when compared to a sugar pill.
And the safety question is just as confusing. You have a massive study looking at over 23,000 births that found no extra risk to babies whose moms ate their placenta. But at the same time, we have that very real, very scary case from the CDC where a baby was seriously harmed. It makes it really tough to say it's definitively safe or unsafe.
Which really brings us to this final question. If there are real, documented risks, even if they're rare, and the benefits just aren't proven by science, why is this practice getting more and more popular? The answer might have less to do with the placenta itself and more to do with the incredible pressure new mothers are under and their search for anything that might help during that incredibly difficult postpartum period.